Jesse, welcome back. You warned me when Schedule F first came into being, when President Trump signed the EO, that President Biden repealing it wasn't the end of it necessarily. Do you still think that's the case?
I do not, Francis. And as much as I loathe coming on your show and saying I was wrong, it's one of those times where I don't mind admitting I was wrong. But any implementation of Schedule F, even with rescission of the executive order, would have caused pure chaos in federal agencies. What actually happened was, as best as I can tell, and those I talked to, Schedule F was never implemented anywhere. Thus, the chaos did not ensue that I was anticipating.
What's up, y'all? I appreciate you guys stopping through again to another D program and letting your light shine with me right here, right now. You guys could be anywhere. I realize that, and I really do appreciate you guys stopping through again as I continue to get this thing together with YouTube. I really appreciate you guys having patience as we move forward. So we're going to get into the Schedule F that was introduced back in 2020, right before Trump left office. Let me tell y'all something, man. This guy, Trump, he's a man, he's playing chess while everybody else is playing checkers, man. So let me light this up. I'm going to light this up with a clip from 4 years ago where these people was talking about Trump's Schedule F executive order. And then we're going to hop right back into where we are today. Y'all check this out.
Those executive orders about the workforce President Biden signed Friday are likely to generate a sigh of relief from federal employees, but the elimination of the Trump EOs may not mitigate all the damage. Jessica Clement is Staff Vice President of Policy and Programs for the National Active and Retired Federal Employees Association. Jesse, welcome back. You warned me when Schedule F first came into being, when President Trump signed the EO, that President Biden repealing it wasn't the end of it necessarily. Do you still think that's the case?
I do not, Francis. And as much as I loathe coming on your show and saying I was wrong, it's one of those times where I don't mind admitting I was wrong. Any implementation of Schedule F, even with rescission of the executive order, would have caused pure chaos in federal agencies. What actually happened was, as best as I can tell, and those I talked to, Schedule F was never implemented anywhere. Thus, the chaos did not ensue that I was anticipating.
A few years later.
In Washington, D.C., thousands of federal employees being laid off. President Trump continuing with his plan to downsize the government. Administration officials defending the latest cuts to the Department of Health and Human Services as lawsuits mount. News Nation's Libby Dean live in D.C. with more. Libby, catch us up. Hey, Adrienne. So the Department of Government Efficiency, that's what we keep hearing about. It's being headed up, obviously, by Elon Musk. And what they're trying to do here is deliver on that promise that we've heard so much about, which is making major cuts to the federal workforce and just the federal government overall. Now, DOGE, as it's called, is a non-governmental agency, and it laid off about 3,600 probationary health and human services employees on Friday. But they say they went through this careful process to exclude those employees who are serving in specialized or critical roles. Now, there's been a lot of outrage over these mass firings, and the agency says that it's actually just following President Trump's orders. And Adrienne, this is likely just the start of layoffs, given reporting that the Internal Revenue Service, the IRS, is expected to actually fire thousands of workers next week. And DOGE has actually sent firing notices to more than a dozen staffers at the United States Digital Services Office, USDS. So a lot of firings happening here in Washington this week, Adrienne.
But I have a hard time believing that there is a single government agency that doesn't have a bloat of administrative personnel that we could probably do without. And I think that's why a lot of voters are happy that Donald Trump and Elon Musk are finally going through the federal government and trying to take out some of this bureaucracy.
Now think about that, because we have to go through our own books, right? I mean, we make there are companies out here, I mean, that use QuickBooks, right? We have to go through our own books. We have to audit ourselves. We have to audit our budgets. And you having a fit because somebody's talking about auditing the government? You know what it is? They don't want you to see the fat. They don't want you to see the cuts. They don't, no, not the cuts. They don't want you to see what is being cut.
We probably just don't need. So I'm reading to you what Sean Duffy says. He's the Secretary of the Transportation. I have no reason to doubt his numbers.
Karen, when you hear this, I mean, look, Americans are concerned about bloat in the federal government. They have been for a very long time. What do you make of how it's been meted out?
So the concern that I think a lot of Americans have, we can all agree there's bloat. We can all agree that we need to deal with that. At the same time, what we're seeing is speed for the sake of creating momentum to create a sense of things are happening. At the same time, look what happened Friday. We had nuclear scientists fired, and then they said, oops, we need those people because they have a tech.
So what? We need those people. Hire them back. So what? You're going to get some oops when you do cuts like that. When you're cutting off the fat, there's going to be some oops. So what? Hire them back. If that's the case, right? They're acting as though there can be no mistakes made, no mistakes allowed when doing a government anything for an excuse to not go forward. That's all this is, y'all. You can see right through it.
Technical skill that nobody else has. So the problem that I have with the way they're doing it is and I went to the Doge website to see if they would say anything about, look, we are conducting this process to make sure we don't harm American safety, their health, or take money.
Oh my gosh, here they come with this safety stuff. They always tie Americans to their form of safety. They want to act as though they care about your safety. They always wrap some type of American or America's future existence to your safety. I can't stand these people when they do that, man. Same thing happened with the C-19. First thing they said was, wear a mask for your neighbor's safety. It's always some safety stuff that they put in there to try and push something through, when all it is control. Trying to control the narrative, trying to make sure that you and I understand that it's for our own good, when it's absolutely not for our own good. So they use safety to push it through. Bull crap.
Out of their wallets. They don't say that. And we're finding out the consequences and the impact of some of these things. If you're a doctor for the VA in the Midwest and you're told you're going to be fired or you're waiting for this court to play out.
You always try to link it to some type of crisis. That's how you know it's fake. People, they always try to link it to some type of crisis. Oh, they're going to pull out the worst scenario so that they can push that on you, program you to make you think that all of it is unnecessary because of these little scenarios, these little nuanced scenarios that we're pulling out to give you. Now it all must be unnecessary. Don't believe it, y'all.
What are you supposed to do with your client the veteran who's got PTSD? Are you trying to find them someone else to go see because you're not sure if you're going to be there in 2 weeks? Or are you assuming you'll be spared because someone will figure out that it's probably not smart to get rid of?
Oh, it's just impossible to work through this. It's just impossible to work through this. Oh, we're supposed to set you up with somebody else that you might have to go. Hey, maybe if they're competent, maybe it's okay if they're not DEI, right? We can set them up with somebody else if they're not DEI, right? It shouldn't be a problem because everybody should be competent. Everybody should be competent. It shouldn't be a problem, right? Or if that doctor that they're currently seeing is actually, doing his job, well, hire him back. It's no problem with that. These people act as though there's no other solution except not to do it. See, that is where this fake phony that they're trying to push on you and I comes in, because they don't want us to really see what is going on with the government bloat. That's what's up, people.
Of doctors who are at the VA who may be working on a critical function. So that's the concern. I think this could have been done with a lot more thoughtfulness about how do we protect people's safety. Even if you said, look, we're going to take 2 weeks at each agency and try to do some kind of rubric to make an assessment, not putting it into an AI system, by the way, which is some of what we've read that they've done.
Let me ask y'all a question. Do y'all think they took the time to add these programs over time? I mean, how long have they, like she just said, you know, maybe we should take time, maybe 2 weeks to do this or do that. They didn't take that time when they added it. They didn't take the time when they added all of these unnecessary programs to the government. They didn't let us know anything they were doing. We're just finding out, people. We're just finding out what has been actually happening to our tax dollars. And now she's talking about maybe we should take some time. It's been enough time. It's been 50 freaking years or however long it's been. No. Speed it up. We need more of this. We need it to be expedited even faster.
And I think what we're going to find is a number of these oops moments that could be.
Oops moments. She said oops moments. You know what the oops moment was? The oops moment was when you guys started this garbage. The oops moment, many of them, is when you guys started bloating the government, period. That's the oops. All of it is one great big oops.
Dangerous.
I just think they need to read the room. I mean, there have been 3 major plane crashes and just...
Oh, here come this frontal lobe. He's going to try to tie all this now. See, I see where he's going. He's going to try to tie all this to the crashes now. Oh, yeah. The crash. You know what? I wouldn't doubt that this guy might have something to do with this, man. You know what I'm saying? Put it like this. You don't know who has something to do or who's gaining from this government bloat. We don't have a clue, but it seems to me that we can kind of understand who might be having something to do with this, because whoever's defending it, they're not defending it for you. They're not defending it for me. They're defending it for probably themselves. And this guy goes, and see, he's coming with the conspiracy theorists. Okay, here we go with somebody talking about the airplanes now tied to this cutting, right? So I'm calling this guy a conspiracy theorist, and I can guarantee you this. It had nothing to do with cutting the jobs, with Elon cutting the government bloat. I mean, you got to feel this out, y'all. Feel this out, because they're going to, listen, we're in a war. We're in a war of words. We're in a war of information. We're in a war of the American people against the deep, tyrannical state.
You know, less than a month. One of them was just a few blocks from the high school I went to in Northeast Philadelphia. And, you know, tell that to the little boy with the metal in his head.
Oh, here he goes. Let's tell it to the little boy. They bring in kids. They bring in crisis. They bring in safety. They bring in everything they can bring in, y'all, so that they can push through this emotional war onto us. They try to make us feel, you know, what these people got to understand is that the people who use their mind, we don't use emotion to make decisions. Elon Musk uses his mind, y'all. Trump uses his mind. I use my mind. Most of the people on the right use their mind. The people on the left, you got more soft people, man. The soft beta men, right? They don't use their mind. They use emotion. And this, you know, they're at more estrogen. You know, they use estrogen to make decisions. So it's crazy, man. It's absolutely
trying
nuts.
to protect his sister during that plane crash. I think that not only do you have to protect the safety of Americans physically, but I think you have to protect our safety mentally. You know,
think about how much are they using the word safety, y'all? Safety. They're gonna beat, I guarantee you're gonna see safety beat down in the next couple weeks.
We see you laying off people from the FAA. At this point, nobody at the FAA is dispensable. I think you have to keep everybody there, at least, you know, for the time being, because we've had these major plane crashes that you haven't seen in 16 years.
Kevin, the optics of this is
No,
referring to.
I think the issue is they're not whacking enough. There's this concept in private equity when you get a bankrupt company and you go in there, you cut 20% more than your initial read. And then you find like a pool of mercury, the organization gels back together again. Always cut deeper, harder when there's fat and waste. The FAA, it's not the people. The code is cobalt. It's from the 60s. It needs CapEx put into it for the technology to be upgraded to make.
Yeah, we got somebody with some brains. Somebody who doesn't use estrogen to make decisions.
Make it safer. Fat like a chicken. All of these agencies are like big fat chickens dripping over barbecues of fat. This is the best barbecue.
We're talking about a man who does not use estrogen to make decisions. All right. For all you women out there who might be, he's talking about the women. No, I'm talking about a dude. I'm talking about a man, a male, right? These are the people we need in charge of the nation, y'all. People who are billionaires because they got there. Mainly because they have the capacity to be able to judge where and when cuts need to be done. I'm talking about good businessmen.
I've ever seen.
Not the George Soroses and all them clowns. I'm talking about good businessmen. Kevin, he's a good businessman. We know him on Shark Tank, right? He comes with the sound business acumen, right? In order for things to be successful. That's what I'm talking about.
But I don't think it's happening fast enough. They're not cutting enough. Keep slashing, keep hacking while you have a 24-month mandate before the midterms. Cut, 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 more cut. Believe me.
Damn it. Oh man, cut, man. He's not like a DJ, man. He ever cut more, man. Oh man, look at them people. Look at her face, man. She don't even understand, man.
It's going to work out just great.
Everybody, people with the nuclear codes, cut them too.
Cut every.
Oh, see how you do? Even if people have nuclear codes, him too. No, nut job. Not cut him. Cut though. Cut everything that needs to be cut. Bring back everything that you may have cut that shouldn't have been cut. But it has to be cut.
Everything. Because if you don't see what they're doing and they can't show you that they're adding value, you whack.
So you got to whack them, y'all. You got to whack them and stack them, man. But look, that's the government's fault. That's the government's fault for all this time stacking up and just bloating the government, you know, with this fraud and abuse, man. That's their fault. And you see, now you can see how government actually makes it harder. I'm talking about big government, overreaching government, right? It actually makes it harder for people. And we've been rolling in this for so long that when we start cutting, it feels like we're doing somebody wrong, or we feel like we're doing something wrong. We're not doing anything wrong, y'all. All right? We've been paying this stuff out for ages. And it's the government's fault for this stuff, man. Government's fault for these people losing their jobs. All right? So what I'm going to do now, let me tie this in, right? I'm going to tie this into the Bible. Tie this into the Word of God so you guys can see how this is not so bad, all right? I want y'all to check this out. We got a story here, a real story, his story, all right? God's story. But check this out. We're talking about cutting jobs. All right. It says here, early in the morning, Gideon and all his men camped at the spring of Harod. The camp of Midian was north of them in the valley near the hill of Moreh. The Lord said to Gideon, "You have too many men. I cannot deliver Midian into their hands, or Israel would boast against me. My own strength has saved me. Now announce to the army, anyone who trembles with fear may turn back and leave Mount Gilead." So God is giving them a chance. Look, you can, just take a leave, right? Take a leave, right? It says here, so 22,000 men left while 10,000 remained. Now look at that cut. That's a serious cut, man. That's a cut. There's thousands of people, man, that left on their own volition, right? God told them, y'all can leave. Take a leave, right? Then it says here, verse 4, but the Lord said to Gideon, there are still too many men. That's what Elon and Trump is saying. Too many people. Take them down to the water, and I will get this thin them out for you there. We're thinning them out, y'all. The government is being thinned out. Listen, if God's government can do it, if God can do this, then surely we can do it in our government, right? But he says, I will thin them out for you there, right? Yeah. And then it says, if I say this one shall go with you, he shall go. But if I say this one shall not go with you, he shall not go. So, I mean, I don't get it, man. Why are people so upset about something that has always taken place, right? I mean, you can get another position. You can do something else. I've let jobs go before and I had to get something else, and there have been, I'm sure, many other people the same way. It's like, why is it such a serious deal now that it's government people, right? Government waste, fraud, and abuse. Waste in this case. But then the story goes on, man. I'm gonna get back over there. Come on up. Here we go. It says here, so Gideon took the men down to the water. There the Lord told him, separate those who lap the water with their tongues, as a dog laps, from those who kneel down to drink. 300 of them drank from cupped hands, lapping like dogs. All the rest got down on their knees to drink. See, they didn't have their heads up. They weren't fit for the job because they weren't soldiers. They weren't looking out around them to see who might be coming. God was looking at their technique, their tactic, their war credentials, right? Didn't fit the job. The Lord said to Gideon, with the 300 men that lapped, I will save you and give the Midianites into your hands. Let all the others go home. God was a job cutter, man. That's what he was. It's showing you right here, right? Because they had a job to do. It says, so Gideon sent the rest of the Israelites home, but kept the 300 who took over the provisions and trumpets of the others. There you have it, man. I mean, what? It doesn't get any more plain than that. Doesn't get any more plain than that, people. So, hey, like I said, in this show, we have fun here, right? But also, I like to try to bring in the scripture with reality, because we deal with reality every day. You got people out here talking about, on different podcasts about reality, but that's it. It stops right there. But you can tie this in, man, every time. Listen, there's nothing that goes on in this world that the Word of God cannot explain to you and me. So there you have it. Word of God coming in just in time to give everybody an exhale. Because I know they've been waiting, right? So anyway, that's all I got for you guys, man. My name is DMG, and I appreciate you guys stopping through. I appreciate y'all, and I love you guys from the top of my heart all the way to the bottom. Keep deprogramming your mind and keep lighting up your life. God bless. This is DMG. Catch y'all on the next video. Peace.